Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to night 74 of the overnight feed recaps for Big Brother season 26. And welcome to October. Yeah, it's October 1st. We're getting to the end. Big Brother just has a couple of weeks left. It really should have about 3 days left. That's all the time we need. Why are we stretching this out over 2 weeks? We had in the house last night, all kinds of explosions and blow ups and yelling. No, we didn't have any of that. It was a chill night. Everyone just time to finish things, time to wrap up, and let's make this thing happen. We are down to our final five. We did have the veto ceremony yesterday. The possibility of pulling Rabina off the block, putting up Cam, was discussed by Mackenzie and Chelsea, but in the end, Mackenzie chose, well, Chelsea chose. Let's be honest about it. The two of them, Chelsea chose not to use the veto. So Rabina and Chemo are on the block. One or the other will be walking out the door on Thursday as the fifth place finisher. Almost certainly Chemo. I just don't see, unless Rabina just absolutely blows up her game. There's a little bit of a concern about Rabina and Cam that we'll talk about. But yeah, I think Chemo heads out the door. I think everyone in the house understands that Chemo is a target this week, which is going to make for an incredibly boring next couple of days until we get to Thursday. Just Big Brother, take these last 2 weeks, squeeze them up. We're happy with that. We're ready for it. I'm ready for it. All right, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. There were a few conversations that were worth talking about. But a whole lot more that just weren't. All right, let's talk about the feeds. Let's talk about what did happen last night. Feeds for the big veto ceremony were down, a couple hours. They came back around 1 o'clock or so, Big Brother time. We had Mackenzie and Chelsea and Cam. Now, it is interesting. You got these three talking a lot together. You got Chemo and Rabina talking together. Occasionally, they would get together for kind of a group chat. But for the most part, Mackenzie and Chelsea and Cam, they're talking about this season, talking about other house guests, Quinn and Tucker, wondering who America loves most. I think they referred to Tucker as kind of playing a mean game, that Quinn was a more kind game. And again, talking about who America may or may not love. It seems to me, based on what I'm saying, that Tucker probably is going to be getting more America's favorite votes than Quinn potentially would. So their perception may be a little different from some of what we're seeing out here, but just general chat about what happened earlier in the season, reminiscing as you tend to do at this point in the game. Meanwhile, while they're doing that, we do have Chemo and Rabina wondering just when this trio of Chelsea and Cam and Mackenzie formed. They started recognizing last week that trio seemed very close together. Just wondering, is this a fairly recent development? They're figuring it's probably right around the janky week where they were all trapped outside. And, as far as Chelsea and Cam goes, it goes a lot further than that. Mackenzie, do y'all remember there was a point where Mackenzie was very much at odds with Brooklyn and Chelsea? They were ready to get her out. She was enemy number one. Amazing how things change throughout the season. Which is why never burn bridges. You can have your worst enemy in the house, but try not to burn bridges, because this game is such a fickle, strange game. Worst enemy 1 week, best friend the next. So, always keep that in mind. But yeah, they're trying to figure out when this group formed, thinking maybe it's around janky week. I think it's a little bit earlier than that. Later, they're wondering what T-Core is doing in Jury House, figuring she's doing some crochet, hoping that she's reading. I'm a little curious. We haven't gotten the jury segments. Surely those are coming up pretty quick. We've got enough people over there, right? We want to see how Quinn and Leah are doing. We want to see if T-Core is. I am always curious to see the personalities in the jury house as compared to the personalities in the Big Brother house, and try to get a read on how much was just a manufactured character versus how these people truly are. So maybe we'll find out on Wednesday or Thursday. We shall see. All right. We had that going on. Nothing for the rest of the afternoon. Not really. They're hanging out in the backyard, talking about dating. A little bit of singing from Chemo. Wouldn't be a day in a Big Brother house without Chemo doing little singing, even when times aren't looking good for him. But everyone just hanging out in the backyard a little bit. Now, we did have Chelsea in the hammock going over her days. They still expect, we have not had the big memory comp type deal that you expect to see every season. So she's going, we never had slip and slide. It's too late for slip and slide at this point. Just not going to happen this season. But expecting still to have some memory comps. If nothing else, as part of a Final Three competition, we'll see it. So Chelsea's in the hammock going over her days. Cam comes out and works with her a little bit on it for a little while. Later, she is telling Cam, just reminding him, saying, you're rear end. You're very close to going on the block this week. That MJ was really considering it. Now she kind of pulled through, and you're good. But hey, just a reminder. I just want to make sure you understand that Mackenzie almost put you up. She's still setting herself up over Mackenzie. If Cam was to somehow miraculously, and I do say miraculously, just almost literally, if he was to win an HOH and had to choose between Mackenzie and Chelsea, Chelsea's still playing the game, still making sure that he understands that Mackenzie almost put him on the block this week. So she is talking to him a little bit about that. All right, I talked about janky week and when the trio formed. Well, they had kind of a janky dinner last night. The backyard is closing, so they were spending a lot of time in the backyard, but they had kind of a janky dinner. Chemo tried to fix rice, didn't go off so well, but he fixed a little rice. Cam used the grill that they still have. During my season, we had a grill for Labor Day, but then that thing got yanked and we never got it back. They've had it all season long, or at least ever since it was given to them. They've been able to keep it. Cam cooked some lemon pepper chicken or something, a grilled chicken that everyone seemed to like. Mackenzie fixed some broccoli and some mashed potatoes. So yeah, everyone kind of doing their own thing as a group family type dinner at the end. A little janky dinner. The only thing they were missing was the styrofoam containers. All right, we had everyone in the backyard after dinner with more chit chat, just hanging out, chatting with each other. Mackenzie talking about how great it will be to be out of the house, not having to follow Big Brother rules, talking about missing her family more and more as the end approaches. There was a point during my season where you're adding it. This is day 52, 53, 54. You finally get to a point where you stop adding days. You stop subtracting days. All right, 12 more days until I'm out of here. 11 more days till I'm out of here. You start thinking about life after Big Brother, and that's what Mackenzie's doing. Rubina and Chemo doing a little bit of it as well here in just a second. But yeah, Mackenzie's saying she's tired of having all these rules. She just wants to go into a store and buy something and not have someone tell her what she can or can't do. I remember in there as a feeling so weird, thinking it has been 90 days since I had a wallet in my back pocket, 90 days since I used a single dollar bill or credit card to buy anything. It does start wearing on you. So yeah, she's ready to be out of the house. I'm probably hoping that she's got at least another couple weeks and it doesn't come next Thursday. But yeah, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. All right, we've got Chemo and Cam talking about Chemo is actually campaigning. So yeah, things do change. Chemo's campaigning. He probably should have campaigned to Mackenzie before the veto ceremony instead of waiting afterwards. He and Rubina, neither one really campaigned to Mackenzie, at least the day of. So yeah, now it's a little bit too late. But Chemo's campaigning to Cam a little bit. Chemo's saying that he feels that Cam's game is best, that Chemo's game best benefits but Cam's game, that both of them probably have the best chance of actually winning Big Brother if they're sitting next to each other at the end. And that's probably true. If this was season 16 and you had two Victorias sitting next to each other, one has to win by default, right? And I think it's kind of what Kim was saying here. He said, yeah, we both have the best chance if we can just get the two of us to the very end. Cam's kind of deflecting as much as he can, saying, look, I know your game benefits mine. I absolutely agree with you. He's saying, but I've got to talk to Chelsea and Mackenzie and see where their heads are at, because if Chelsea votes against you, Chemo, and Mackenzie then breaks a tie, it doesn't matter how I vote. So I've got to talk to the two of them and see what's going on. He says, so and really, Chemo, it's not about convincing me. I understand what you're saying. It's not about convincing me. It's really more about convincing Chelsea. So in other words, Chemo, don't come campaigning to me. Go talk to someone else. All right. Right after that, Chemo asked Mackenzie for a one-on-one later in the evening. And Mackenzie's, oh, sure, sure. She doesn't really want to have a one-on-one at all because later Chelsea and Mackenzie are talking. Mackenzie's telling Chelsea, saying, I don't want to do a one-on-one with Kima. I don't want to do it at all, but I sure don't want to do it today. She said, I've got a headache, or I'll create a headache, one or the other. But she said, I just don't want to do it tonight. I'm going to tell Chemo that maybe we could do it tomorrow instead, see if I can put him off. She does say that she'll probably wait until Wednesday. At that time, tell Chemo that the sending him out is just best for her game. There's nothing personal. That's the way it's going to be, Chemo. He knows. They all know they all see the writing on the wall at this point. But she says she'll probably tell him on Wednesday. Chelsea is saying that Chemo asked her earlier in her day if his time is up in the house. So again, he's kind of aware of it as well. She told him, more deflecting, because she says that she told him that he needed to talk to Cam and figure out what is best, that she needed to talk to Cam and figure out what is best for their game. So in other words, Cam saying, you got to go talk to Chelsea. Chelsea saying, I got to go talk to Cam. Jury management. No one wants to be the person to tell Chemo that I want you to go home. Everyone's going to be like, if it was up to me, Chemo, you'd be here. The last thing I want is to send you home, but these other old mean folks over here, they're the ones that are sending out your door. I have a nice little friendly me who's counting on your vote at the final too. I don't want you going anywhere, Chemo. Now they all want them gone, except for Rubina. Everyone else wants them gone. So but Chelsea's saying, yeah, I told him that he needed to just, I'd have to talk to Cam and we'd find out a little bit. So they're talking about that. They're talking about Cam. This is Chelsea and Mackenzie again. They're both thinking that Cam probably won't try to play them. That they think he's going to take them to a final three. I can't remember. I think it's Mackenzie, maybe it's Chelsea. One of them says, I think he just wants to make it to the final three. So in other words, he's not going to try to even break us. He just wants to make it to final three, and then whatever happens, happens. So they think that Cam's not going to have any huge move if he was to win HOH. So they're not too worried about that. Chelsea is a little bit worried about Rubina, that Rubina would probably take Cam over either one of the other two girls. Well, yeah. Now, here's where push is going to come to shove. Rubina has talked all season long about Girls Alliance. We want it to be 3 women at the end. This, and this. She's really pushed the cause when it was convenient for her. If Rubina was to get power as the final 4, and power as in if she was to get Veto, would she keep Cam and send out Chelsea or Mackenzie, and which I think perhaps would be her best path to victory? It's got to be, right? You don't want to keep the 2 ladies. That would be tough. Would Rubina keep Cam over one of the 2 ladies to improve her chances of victory, or would she go all in with the cause, send Cam out the door, and truly have 3 women at the end? We'll see. Maybe we'll see. Maybe we won't. But for that reason alone, it could be interesting to see what would happen with a Rubina Veto win come next week. So we'll find out. But something to be watching for tomorrow, perhaps. But yeah, she's a little bit worried that Rubina would take Cam over either of them. So she says she's going to talk to Rubina. This is Chelsea. So she's going to talk to Rubina tomorrow to see where her head is at. All right, we've got Chemo and Rubina in the hot tub, the jacuzzi out in the backyard. No one ever uses it because the water is never really warm in there. I guess it's warm enough. They've had issues inside the house with hot water, so maybe the jacuzzi is the only way to get hot water in his house right now. But Chemo's sitting in it. Rubina has her legs on the side, but they're talking a little bit. Chemo is saying, look, however it turns out, it turns out. I'm kind of ready to accept that. He says, let's just do what we need to do to try to survive. In other words, campaign. He says, but I'm not going to say anything against you, Rubina. You're my friend, so I'll campaign for me, but I'm not going to say anything against you. He does say at one point that he doesn't even really feel like trying because he feels like it's already been decided. They at one point said, I think not using a veto had been decided a long time before today. Actually, it was bounced around a little bit till the very end, but not because they wanted to keep you, just because people playing different games. But he's saying he's in some ways he doesn't even feel like trying at this point. They're talking about the fact that the good news is that even though they're getting broken up, even though one of them is going home, the good news is that someone's staying. Someone is making Final Four at this point in time. Chemo is saying, Rubina, you could win this game, that people like her, would potentially give her votes in a jury vote. Chemo is saying this could be the HOH comp win that suddenly propels you into a top three. And then at that point, who knows what happens, Rubina? So he's pumping her up a little bit with the recognition that he probably won't be the one competing going forward. Chemo is warning, though, Rubina, that if she lets Chelsea get to a final two, Chelsea is going to win. And Rubina say, nah, I understand that. Absolutely understand that. They're talking about doing a podcast together when they get out. And all the business side, and we can write off our equipment and this and that, and we need to form an LLC. So again, it's not just Mackenzie who's thinking about life outside the Big Brother house. Rubina and Chemo are going to do a podcast, and they're already working out the business plan. So yeah, I'd go for it. Yeah, you got nothing but time inside that house. So they're talking about that. Rubina also vocalizes a little bit of a worry that maybe Tucker has watched the rest of the season, and maybe she's changed his mind about her, and who knows what's waiting for her on finale night. We shall see. Don't know that he's changed his mind, but we'll find out what happens on Thursday. All right, Chemo is saying that he's trying to figure out who he'll vote for among the house guests that are left in the house. Says that he doesn't want to be petty, but he's just had one of those kind of moments. Of course you are. He says that he wants to bring back a bitter jury to Big Brother. Of course you do. Zero surprise. Rubina, Chemo, T-Core, all going to be bitter juries when it comes down to it. Quinn, I think, will, being the super fan he is, maybe not so much. I would probably say the same thing about Angela. Leah, I can see her being a little bit of a bitter juror as well. We'll see how we don't have that long to wait. All right, hot water still appears to not be working in the showers. At one point, Chemo's bringing bowls of hot water from the kitchen for his shower. He says it reminds him of being a child when he showered with bowls of water. I think as Rubina saying, I don't want to shower with bowls of water. I don't want to do that. But Chemo using some bowls of water to supplement the lukewarm at best water coming out of the shower. I don't know what's happening. Rubina at one point says, this house is falling apart. The lights went out. The hot water's gone. It's not just the house guests that are ready for this season to be over. All right, there's talk among the house guests, just general chit-chat again about eating, counting calories, drinking tequila, drinking other drinks I've never even heard of, getting drunk, Victoria's Secret, Sports Illustrated. Mackenzie's ready to be a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, it sounds like. Talk about movies, just general chit-chat as you tend to get. Now, the house guests have been having to put on their BB Comics costumes because they're all doing their DR sessions where you have to talk about all your comics. Incredibly long sessions. I've mentioned on here before where you go in and you're asked to basically comment on every one of the 16 comics. What ones were funny? Oh, that was so appropriate, or I don't get that one. And just a very long, drawn-out DR session for each of them to talk about the comics that we'll be seeing on probably Thursday night's episode. I would think so. I'm looking forward to seeing those comics. But yeah, so we see the house guests occasionally disappearing from the chit chat with their costumes on, going in the diary room session and all that. And the rest of the house have chosen this to be the time to try to scare the house guests as they come out of their diary room sessions, which is a little difficult because they're spending so much time in there. There's a lot of people just waiting around for extended periods of time for someone to finally come out of the diary room. Now, the backyard I mentioned is closing, so there's also a lot of laundry going on. Big Brother Canada had their washers and dryers inside the house. Big Brother USA never figured that out, which means any laundry has to be done over a very quick little period of time before the backyard shuts down. That was always an issue. My season, I don't know how it is that someone, I would wash every towel in the house, and 15 minutes later, they're all dirty and on the floor again. It drove me bonkers. Anyway, some people use a lot of towels, but backyard's closing, so laundry time for everyone going on. Eventually, we get Cam and Chelsea in bed, separate beds, but we never got to that point. Cam and Chelsea in bed. Mackenzie in bed, reading the Bible, I think maybe drinking, maybe some wine, I don't remember, in bed, watching the monitor, watching as Chemo is hiding under a blanket in the living room, waiting to scare Rabina. But Rabina into the diary room for so long, and eventually Chemo kind of gives up on it and disappears. Eventually, they meet up in the bathroom. Chemo and Rabina head out to the backyard to the hammock for one of their late night conversations. So they spent some time out in the hammock talking with each other, talking about the fact that they're recognizing, as said before, that Chelsea and Mackenzie and Cam have a final three. Well, yes, they do. Talking about that, but they're also thinking and believing and agreeing that Chelsea and Cam have a final two, which is true. Why does Mackenzie not see this? And maybe she does and just is choosing, hoping that things change. I think it's just a blind spot for Mackenzie and her gameplay. But they're recognizing that Cam and Chelsea have a final two, that neither one of them's taking Mackenzie to the very end. So Chemo and Rabina are pointing that out. More talk about their podcast, trying to hash out what they're going to do and how it would work and all of that. So again, just kind of enjoying the time they've got together, another couple of days. And then, one of them departs, probably most likely Chemo again. And there you have it, in bed by 3:30 or so, Big Brother time. So in summary, not a lot. We do have Chemo and Rabina still in the block. Chemo is still the target. A little bit of campaigning. In a normal week, I'd say today will be chill. Wednesday, the two people on the block will start campaigning hard and heavy, and you could get some excitement going on there. I think Wednesday's just going to be it might as well be a Mamma Mia on repeat, because I have a feeling on the last day, Rabina and Chemo are going to just be a lot of dancing, singing, and everything except gameplay. Now, maybe they'll surprise me, but we'll see. But there you have it, guys. A chill night in the Big Brother house. I will be back tomorrow to tell you all the crazy stuff that I'm sure is going to happen. But I'll be there to tell you about the crazy stuff and the boring stuff as well. Y'all have a fantastic Tuesday. Enjoy your day. Enjoy October. And I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Until then, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends.